Ladies and gentlemen, I've found a new sovereign citizen guru who is going to explain to you how you're never going to get a ticket and how the laws that are actually written in California's code don't apply to the general public, as he cherry picks the commercial code for one specific ordinance. It says you don't need a driver's license unless you're employed by the state or a public official, which he totally screws up. And so check it out.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your buddy THOR here and little dude man who's sleeping. I just thought I would check in because I haven't checked in for a while.
This gentleman here's channel name is THOR. That's the whole channel name, THOR. And he's kind of like, he thinks he's a SovCit guru and he thinks he knows all the laws and stuff. And I watched this video a little while ago, and nothing he says makes any sense. It's just all contradictory garbage, but we're gonna get into it a little bit with him.
And I know I just dropped a bomb on everybody, and I didn't, edit it in any specific way. I just put the raw video out there, and people have taken it and run with it, and it's on TikTok and everywhere else now. And I really shared the video because I wanted people to be empowered and know that it's all an illusion. This whole thing is an illusion.
It is all an illusion, basically. And some of you might think it's all an illusion. What are you talking about? I know this is reality. I know that this is real. What is the illusion about?
So let me just start with this. Okay, here's what I have in my binder. I'm going to share my screen. Okay. So as you see here, let me
what you're about to see is this guru completely get this whole thing wrong. The whole thing, he's going to get it wrong, and I'll explain why after. See if you can notice it before it ends.
Okay, here's my little cursor. Okay, I want to show you guys. Look at this. If you don't have a copy of your motor vehicle code book for your state, get it. I shouldn't say your state. For the corporate state that patrols the freeways. Remember, they're free to us private men and women. Don't say living. We all know if you're standing there and you're breathing there, you're living. You don't need to say living. What you do need to say is private. I'm in the private. I'm not doing commercial activity, right?
This is the genius that we're listening to now, the THOR. Yeah, that's a great channel name. But you must stayed up all night trying to think of that. It's got 75 videos. Got 1,210 subscribers and yada yada yada, and he's expert on everything, sovereign citizen. So
here's what this one says, okay, which should be mind-blowing to many people. Okay, this is California Vehicle Code 21052, public officers and employees. The provisions of this code applicable to, now listen to it, okay? It's saying public officers, employees, right?
That's exactly what it says. That particular 21052 point, public officers, employees, is for public officers and employees, not for the general public.
Applicable to the drivers of vehicles upon a highway, apply to the drivers of all vehicles while engaged in the course of employment by this state. The provisions of this code, all right, it doesn't say this section. It says this code. This is the motor vehicle code, okay? The provisions of this code, okay? So if you're not a public officer and employee, if you're not driving upon the highway in the course of employment by this state, any political subdivision thereof, any municipal corporation or any district, right? If you're not any of those, including authorized emergency vehicles, subject to those exemptions, blah, 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 which we'll get to over here. But if you're not working for the state, this code does not apply to you.
So he's interpreting one statute. He cherry-picked this statute out of the whole, vehicle code of California, which only applies to public officers and employees of the state. It doesn't apply to the general public, and he doesn't get it. Either that or he does get it, and he's just trying to sell it as some kind of nonsense.
It's that simple. Forget about the fact that there's no injured party. We all know that, right? It's all a sham anyway. But this could apply if you work for the state and you're on the clock, this applies to you. This motor vehicle code applies to you, and those officers that pull you over have every right to do so. But if you're not working for the state, then this motor vehicle code does not apply to you.
That is correct, but it's funny he bypassed this statute. 12500, driver's license required. A person may not drive a motor vehicle upon the highway unless the person holds a valid driver's license issued under this code, except for those persons who are expressly exempt under this code. So there it is right there. He doesn't show this section because that would be inconvenient for his whole spiel here, wouldn't it?
Okay, look up your code. You're going to find it in your own code. Okay, it's in everybody's code. All right, let's see here. All right, now here's the other part that I have in my binder. Okay, exemption of authorized emergency vehicles. Now this tells you when a emergency vehicle is allowed to activate their lights pull, or I should say clear the road for an emergency. Okay, exempted authorized emergency vehicles. These are emergency vehicles that are exempt from Chapter 2. Okay, the driver of an authorized emergency vehicle is exempt. A, if the vehicle being driven in response to an emergency call. So you say, hello, good day, officer. How are you, sir? Very nice to meet you. Yes, I pulled out of the way. Or actually, you want to ask them questions. So I would say, would it be possible that I pulled to the side of the road because there was an emergency? And when they say, no, I pulled you over, blah, 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 then you say, so this was not an emergency.
Oh, good Lord. Jesus Christ. I can't believe this guy. This is getting pretty boring here. This is all nonsense. We've all heard it before, and we know none of it's legal. He's just trying to make some money. I don't know if he sells a sovereign citizen package to get yourself arrested or what. But anyway, let's see if we can find anything else interesting here.
Are you telling me this is not an emergency? I pulled over and it's not an emergency? Oh, well then right there, they've already made an accident, okay? And therefore you want to invoke your Fourth Amendment right not to give up anything. Don't let them seize any property of yours because they'll ask you for license, registration, all that stuff. And I would simply say, I'm not doing commercial business and this wasn't an emergency. You have no lawful right to pull me over. And I'm going to invoke my Fourth Amendment right not to have my property seized. And I'm going to invoke my Fifth Amendment right not to speak to you anymore because you and I have no business together. You're here to regulate commerce and I'm not involved in commerce. Okay. Engaged in rescue operations. You know, they might tell you, oh, well, we wanted to check and see if you're okay. I'm fine. Can I be free to be on my way, please? Or in the immediate pursuit of an actual or suspected violator of the law. Now, in the video that you saw previously that I posted, it's hard to hear, but if you listen to the judge, she actually says there's no possible way you can go to jail for a traffic infraction, okay?
Does any of this sound familiar to y'all? Sounds pretty familiar to me. It's the same nonsense we've heard over and over and over again, and nobody has ever won a court case on the merits of their arguments using these types of arguments because they're all nonsense. Now, he had some case dismissed. I don't know what it was, but he went on with it for about 15 minutes in the beginning of the video, and I cut it all out because it was just hot air. Anyway, let's finish this up.
So therefore, you know that it's a policy, it's not a law, okay? You can't go to jail for violating a policy. Okay, you can go to jail for violating a law, but the judge actually tells you you can't go to jail, which is why it's mind-blowing that these officers are actually arresting people on the side of the road for different traffic infractions. You know, unless you're so drunk out of your mind that you're not in appropriate control of your car, and now you're putting the public at risk, because that's where the officers do come in. They should be making sure that you're not a public nuisance.
So according to Bozo the Clown here, it's okay to pull somebody over and arrest them for drunk driving, but nothing else. Driving 120 in a 30-mile-an-hour zone, stuff like that, that's not dangerous. That's not endangering the public. Driving all over the road, none of that's illegal, only DWI. So I don't get it. If one law doesn't apply, then none of them apply to anything.
Okay, so if you're a public nuisance, they have the right to pause you. I apologize for the noisy. I have a change of office venue for a short time, so it's a little bit noisy out there. Anyway, in the immediate pursuit of an actual or suspected violator of the law, those are the only two reasons they can pull you over. If there's an emergency, or if they have reasonable, articulable suspicion, probable cause that they can tell you. That's when you tell them, was there an emergency? No. Okay. Was there reasonable, articulable suspicion that I'm violating the law? No. I pulled you over because you changed lane. Yeah, you violated the law by changing lanes. That's not law. That's a code. A code is policy. A policy only applies to the state.
I still can't believe people buy into this crap. You still see them right to this day, right to within the last 15 minutes. I'll guarantee you some sovereign citizen's been out there spewing this nonsense to an officer on the side of the road. Ends up getting a ticket, going to court, pleading guilty, and then goes home after he pays all his fines, which are usually triple what it would have cost him to have a driver's license and plates and all that stuff.
And remember, the state is a corporation, so let's just call it a corporation, okay? It's the same thing as McDonald's. If you go through the drive-thru and McDonald's says, hey, where's your visor and your smock? You'd be like, what? What are you talking about? I don't work for you. I don't need to wear a visor and a smock. And so that's basically the same thing that's happening. They're making the assumption. Now, the officers don't know. Remember this. The officers do not know. They have no idea whatsoever that you are, they don't know what the law is, okay? I have another guy who used to be a commissioner on...
Did you know what I just realized? That if AFA lost about 200 pounds, he looked just like this guy. This looks like a younger, slimmer version of AFA.
The city commission, and they never even listened to what the statutes were. They never read the statute. They didn't become familiar with the statutes of law. And there are definitions in there that are very, very crucial.
And I am the only authority of the law, and I will sell you the package to get you out of a ticket. It's not exactly a tri-fold. I have a quad fold. It has 4 folds in it. That makes it a quad. 4 is quad. 1, 2, 3, 4. A tri-fold only has 3 folds, so I give you a lot more information for your buck. So it's like $719,000 for this package, and I guarantee you, you'll never get a ticket ever in your life. Thank you very much for listening. I'm not very smart, but I make a lot of money. I only need one person to buy this package every year, and I will have a yearly salary of $17,500. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
There you have it, folks. The 2023 Guru of the Year. He's going to get everybody arrested and thrown in jail and cost them all kinds of money selling this garbage. It's just nonsense. He's been famous on TikTok, according to him. I don't know who the guy is. But anyway, yeah, it's all nonsense. I just thought it was funny. The guy's a clown. Anyway, hope you enjoyed. Love y'all. Bye.